Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
All right. So it looks like we have somebody trying to connect right now. Maybe that's Majid. Oh,
yep.
All right. Welcome back, Majid.
Hey, sorry everyone. I don't know, it just bounced the internet. So I'm going to continue from my phone if you guys let me.
Oh yeah, we can hear and see you just fine, Majid.
All right, let's get going. So coaching is the fourth type of leadership style that I was talking about, we extensively use. So the key point here to note is you need to understand that the teams that you're leading have not reached to their full potential. So you know this individual can do a lot better than this. So this is when you wear your hat of this kind of hat, the coaching hat. So you would be able to coach him and drive full output from an individual. So it's best interest for you as a leader, best individual, best outcome for the one who you're leading and the business you're dealing with. And my favorite one that I would like to grow myself here until innovative one, and maybe pause here and not go further down because they are for specific cases. So innovative leadership style. So this is a good style of leading where you share your vision. Like, what's your long-term plan? How would the team look like in future? What's your aim? And then you have once you create a vision in the team, you start speaking with the team, like what would be the best way. You have something in your mind, but you try to encourage everyone to participate and bring up ideas. So you inculcate that habit of innovation. That is what is your main goal in creating being an innovative leader, encouraging innovative ideas. So if somebody have contributed with an innovative idea, you appreciate it. So you develop that environment of innovative ideas. But as we have understand, there are few areas that we have to be careful of. So it could be in a risky environment, the innovative leadership style could be challenging. Like in our field, we like innovation in analyzing drop calls or increasing the throughput in Biloxi area, somewhere that we are working on, like a project. But like a 911 calls also go through our network, but that is a strict law of code from federal. So we don't like innovation in there. It's step 1, 2, 3, 4. It's authoritative. We go like this, no innovation in there, because there is a plan set from federal and there are multiple agencies involved. So maybe in this part, we would not do innovative leadership in this branch of engineering. So whenever there's a risk involved, we might want to steer towards some other leadership cap that you want to wear. And there are some others. The pace setting is one for a highly skilled team that you're leading, but it's very specific to an area. But authoritative is the next that I want to focus. So authoritative leader, if you have a long-term vision and your focus is towards a goal that you're trying to reach, so you try to inculcate that spirit of goal. You enthusiasm your team with your goal, and you are more experienced leader. So you don't give much collaboration between the team, but you set specific rules to be followed. And this kind of leadership works very well if there's a change of vision needed. Like if we were to say, if we were to change from easy speak to speak fast kind of platform, if we're moving from Toastmasters to easy speak, or if we're changing some platform, so maybe Luke would go a little authoritative because he has a long-term vision that would be more helpful. But some individuals may be a little skeptical about the change, so he might be a little authoritative, but keeping the long-term vision in the goal in the mind. So bureaucratic is the last one that I'm talking about. This is very less seen, but this is enforcing rules, discipline, top down. So this is more man, I don't want to be working for a bureaucratic manager. So on an overall, it works for good for a short term, but you cannot manage bureaucratic for a highly skilled labor for long term. Maybe it's for short term duration for specific target to be reached, or if there's an emergency that the decisions have to be made very fast, then this bureaucratic leadership style would be very helpful. So on an overall, I think that to complete the speech, the leadership styles grows with your style and grows with your experience, and you need to adapt with the atmosphere you're in. Think where you are, what leadership cap that you want to wear, and what would be most efficient. That's my overview that I wanted to share with you, and have that in your mind when you leave from the Toastmaster today. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Majid. That was a great speech. And to be honest, leadership styles really intrigue me because, as we most know, we've all had bosses before. And I hate to say it, but in the military, I can probably name more bosses that, you know, I'd rather not work for than the ones I actually work for. And so, you know, as everybody grows up, you know, in rank or just in their job, you know, when you start leading people, you want to be somebody that, you know, people respect, and you want to be kind to others and treat people how you want to be treated. But at the same time, you want to be, you know, affirmative and be able to handle the business that you need to. And so it's a fine line, I feel. And so I enjoyed your speech. I think everybody enjoyed listening to it. So, okay, moving on. We will begin our section on table topics, and I will turn the lectern over to David.
Hi, everyone. I am your table topics master for this evening, and I thought a good topic or subject matter for this evening might be hurricanes, because hurricanes have been foremost on a lot of our minds recently. And we had two really horrible hurricanes this year on the Gulf Coast. We had Hurricane Laura earlier that came into Louisiana and Texas area. And now, most recently, Hurricane Sally, which I think we're all familiar with. I lost power for a couple of days, and it was very disruptive to my life. So I think that's something we can make a table topics out of. And I made a list of questions or topics, so I'll ask for a volunteer, and I'll read the first question. Do we have anybody that would like to volunteer to practice your ad-lib speaking? Cheyenne? Cheyenne has raised her hand. So the question is this. Back in 2005, we had Hurricane Katrina, which was a very vicious and deadly storm. I just Googled it before the meeting, and according to Google, 1,833 people died in this hurricane. It was tragic. Well, when it happened, there was a young lady at work, and her name was Katrina. And it was actually a little bit emotionally troubling for her to deal with having her name be associated with such a horrible event. So my question is, if a hurricane that was particularly vicious and deadly was also your name, how would you feel about that? And that's my question.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I've been asked if my name was associated with a negative thing, such as a hurricane. How would I deal with that? I will say Hurricane Katrina actually happened the day before my birthday. So our power was out, and my grandparents turned the toaster oven on with the generator, toasted me an Eggo waffle, put one candle in it, and then said, "Come outside and help us clean up the yard when you're done eating your waffle." So, and then my grandmother has had two birthdays on hurricane. Hurricane Ivan was on her birthday, however long ago that was. And then this one was also on September 16th. So she's associated with the hurricanes by her birthday. So I think one way I would deal with that is just to try to be positive about it, and just, it's like Friday the 13th. I've had known people whose birthdays are on Friday the 13th, and everyone's like, oh, that's such an unlucky day. But they say, well, it's my day, so it's a lucky day for me. So I think just hoping that another hurricane doesn't happen on my birthday, so I won't be associated with it that way. And also, I think another way that I would deal with it is probably with humor. So anytime like I was angry, I'm sure someone would say, Hurricane Cheyenne's coming again. Like we're saying with the Hurricane Nana, we all have that sassy Nana. So yeah, I think just trying to flip a negative into a positive is how we cope with things. So thank you.
Thank you, Cheyenne. I think that was very well said. Ultimately, coincidences are just that, coincidences. They're not good or bad, and that was a good explanation. So for the next question, I thought I would ask our if Mariana would like to speak tonight. Would you like to do a table topics, Mariana? It's completely optional.
No, thank you, not tonight.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe next time. So do we have a volunteer for our next topic? I think Olivia is raising her hand. Okay. So this is the question. I've lived here all my life, and I've been through several hurricanes. The worst for me personally was Hurricane Frederick. We lost power for over 3 weeks at my house, and we even lost water pressure for 2 days. So not having utilities as a 15-year-old was a new experience, and it was at first it was the most exciting thing ever, but then it was like the most annoying and horrible thing ever. My question is, with all of the risk of hurricanes on the Gulf Coast and the tragic things that can happen with them, is it worth it to live here? And if it is, why? I think you're muted.
Let me restart my time. Sorry about that. Hello, I have been asked the question, is it worth it to stay here on the Gulf Coast with all the hurricanes and the bad weather that is associated with it? And I said, yes, I was born in the South. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, but I've been here since I was a teenager. And I thought oftentimes about leaving, but I don't know anywhere that you can go that you can get away from natural disasters. It's either going to be hurricanes, snowstorms, wildfires, earthquakes. It's going to be something no matter where you go. So I think the cons of staying here in the Deep South is the heat and humidity. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't think you ever get accustomed to that. But when you look at statistics and how often a tragic hurricane really occurs, they're few and far in between enough that I don't think it's enough for you to just up and say, let's abandon the coast. Now, would I live on waterfront property or live on the coastline like Dolphin Island or somewhere? No, Destin, those places are beautiful to look at and to go visit, but I don't think I would be interested in living there. And I've already, just out of curiosity, looked at what some of the property taxes as well as the homeowners insurance prices are, and they are outrageous for living on the coastline. So would I up and move for that reason? No. And but would I ever go stay on the coast? No, thank you. That's my answer. And back to you, Table Topics Master. Oh, I will say that one thing I know in the last one, I had a Hurricane Olivia. My name was retired And I killed a lot of people in Texas, I think in 1902 or 1901. So it was a very bad storm. And it makes me sad sometimes, but when I think about it, I'll be like, hey, you better leave me alone. If you think I'm playing, look me up. So, yeah, but anyway, Hurricane Olivia was a pretty bad storm. So that was just, I had to put that in there. All right, thank you. Back to you, Table Topics.
Thank you, Olivia. And I think that was a good explanation as well. I remember after the terrorist attacks in 911, the people were asking, what can I do? What can I do? And I heard an expert say, the best thing you can do is to quit smoking and wear a seatbelt, because that will save more lives than terrorists could ever hope to kill. So putting things in perspective, it's easy to get caught up in the moment of a hurricane, but there are a lot of preventative things we can do for ourselves. So I think maybe we have time for one more. Let's try, do we have a volunteer, or should I pick someone? Okay, we've got Kyler. This is a good one for you, Kyler. So hurricanes, I remember when I was a child, hurricanes were all female names. And I forget when, but at some point it was decided that's not really fair. So now hurricanes, we alternate between male and female, male and female. So is that a good idea, or should hurricanes have been all female names? Like ships, I believe, are normally named as females in all circumstances. So how do you feel about that change?
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and on guests. I've been asked how I think about the gendered name of hurricanes. It's funny you mentioned that. Some of you guys may remember this old joke, but it's like an old cheesy Southern joke. And like, well, they're called hurricanes, not hurricanes. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys remember that one. Looks like Maurice knows that one. You never heard that one? No. Yeah, that was one of those. That's one of those old Southern like idioms that probably are gonna die out, you know. But I still remember it. I remember old people saying it to me. So I probably say it to like one of my kids so it can kind of stay alive. But eventually the idea is gonna die out. But yeah, I think it kind of comes back to. So a lot of things in life, people like to project their own personalities on it. So like, you know, like in analytical psychology, we talk about the people like to project their anima or their animus onto things. So they like to say, you know, depending on their relationship with the opposite gender, like, oh, well, they'll, you know, if you have a good relationship with the opposite gender, you might call a ship or a car like she, you know, like, because you have a positive. But if it's negative, then you might say hurricane, you know, or like same thing with, you know, women and men, you know, they might say like, well, that's a male hurricane, you know, because, you know, men are terrible, or, you know, just depending on what your relationship is. But I think ultimately, like, trying to give hurricanes, destructive storms, a human attributes or human name, like, I know that's what we like to do as humans. Like, we like to tell stories. But, you know, similar to like what you mentioned earlier with your friend named Katrina, it can also be very harmful because you start to associate that with, so like, say so if you're calling all the hurricanes female, then like, you know, you're associating that with that gender, or you call them all male, you're associating with that gender, or you call them all, you know, Fred, and then you're going to associate with people who are named Fred. So it's sad that we've had so many hurricanes this year, but I like the idea of calling them like, you know, Gamma or Delta or like Greek alphabet letters, because then you can, you know, have something to call it. You can give it a personification, but it's not something that can be associated with a person or someone that's in your life or a group of people. You can kind of separate the storm for what it is. It's a force of nature. So that, I know that was kind of a long roundabout answer to your question, but ultimately, I would say that if it were up to me, I would do away with human names altogether. So thank you.
Thank you, Kyler. That's a really good point. I haven't thought about that. I was thinking in terms of gender, but the idea of should it be named after a person at all, that's really a good talking point. So I think we're running a little over, but that's okay. So I think it's time to end table topics. So I will turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster, Luke. And thank everyone for participating.
All right, thanks, David, and thanks for the questions. I think the hurricane topic was very relevant, and you know, some of the hurricanes that people mentioned, like Katrina and Ivan and stuff like that, were very cataclysmic. And I'm excited, or I'm happy that Hurricane Sally wasn't more cataclysmic than it was, because I think some of us were pretty lucky in some of the places we live in Mobile. I know here in Grand Bay, we got hit pretty hard, and the next day, seeing my neighbors, we were just thankful that it wasn't as bad as it could have gotten, but it definitely got scary. So moving on in the meeting, we will go into our always important section of the evaluations, and I will introduce the general evaluator, Cheyenne, to introduce her team.
All right, thank you, Luke. So we are going to start the evaluation process, and I would like to call the first speech evaluator up, and that will be Kyler Gates.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. My name is Kyler Gates, and I'll be evaluating my JED speech. And hopefully, my JED, are you still here? Because I see you're muted. I don't see your image, but I wanted to see if you'd be able to hear me.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, cool. All righty. So luckily, I've been able to evaluate your speech on my phone, so I'll be able to send you the document. I'll share it with you in Google Docs later. So that way you won't have to wait to get the paperwork. So the notes for the evaluator was to look for, you know, well-organized speech about aspects of leadership styles. The member can choose about what they would like to speak about, their own or some others, and a couple different options in how they can do it. So just my general comments about the speech is he excelled at clearly describing concepts and ideas and using gestures, especially when you switched over to your phone later and you were talking and your hands were free. You were very emotive. You did a great job at looking at the camera, which is something that I forget to do, but I've noticed it, I guess, more so since the quarantine, that when someone is talking to the camera and they look directly at the camera, it feels like they're looking at you. It feels more realistic, more personal. Whereas if someone's looking at their screen, it feels like kind of disassociated. So you were looking into the camera. So when I was watching you speak, it felt like you were in front of me talking to me. So I felt more connected to you through that. So that was a great technique. And like I said, you had good vocal variety. You could put down that you could challenge yourself to increase your vocal variety. But overall, it was decent vocal variety. The thing that I would say you may want to work on, and this may be a technical difficulty issue or may have been a timing issue, but you had a chart that had the different leadership styles on it. And it was kind of hard for me to see through the camera on this kind of smaller screen. Maybe next time, share it as like a PowerPoint and kind of show the PowerPoint while you're speaking. Kind of similar to, I don't know if you remember, Diego did it a while back. He would kind of like show the PowerPoint, talk about some of the items, and then flip back and then talk, you know, face to face, and then go back to the PowerPoint when he needed to. As far as the content of your speech, I thought the content and the concept was excellent. Like, I liked how you went through and showed the value of every leadership style and where and what situations it might be helpful for. Because my kind of concept of leadership styles is, in the past, I think, well, you know, some people lead like this and some people lead like that. But you kind of pointed out, well, there's a value to this kind of leadership in this situation. So if you're new to the situation, democratic is a good option. If you're trying to work quickly, then you may want something, or if you're in an emergency, then you may want something more authoritarian. And then, bureaucratic helps, in certain situations, although it's difficult to deal with. So I like that you were able to show the value of each of those things rather than sometimes people say like, well, this is the right one, go for this one, or you have this personality, go for that. So I like how versatile you made it. Overall, it was a great speech. I really enjoyed it. I know you were dealing with some technical difficulties, but that's not really your fault. That's just, especially right now after the hurricane, a lot of us are dealing with connectivity issues. But overall, it was a great speech, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to hear your next one. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, I just want to appreciate your input. Thanks, Tyler.
Of course, anytime.
All right, so we will go through the other evaluators reports, and then I will give my general evaluation of the meeting. So could we please get the timers report?
Hello, I am Olivia again, and I have your timers report for tonight. So for Majid's speech on understanding leadership styles, Majid, I know you had some difficulties. You had to go out or you lost connection. So did I, actually, and I had to come back in. So I still took off a minute, and I clocked you at 10 minutes and 25 seconds. So you went over just a little bit, but it was a great speech, and I enjoyed it. Cheyenne, your table topic was 1 minute and 43 seconds. Mine was 1 minute and 42 seconds. And Kyler, yours was 2 minutes and 49 seconds. That's it. Back to you, General Evaluator.
All right, thank you so much. And can we please get the grammarian report?
Yes, for the grammarian's report, I did not remember hearing any errors or in the English language. And unless I missed somebody, only heard Luke say the word of the day. He said it twice. I don't know if you said it, Majid, the word of the day during your speech or not.
No, I had it planned, but I couldn't split it. I lost. I had it in my notes, but yeah, I couldn't get it with this flipping between the screen. I kind of lost a little concentration there.
All right, thanks, Majid. And that is the grammarian's report for tonight. Back to you, General Evaluator.
All right, thank you so much. And can I get the report from the all counter?
Yes, we had quite a few filler words tonight, and I just used one. Majid, on your speech, I had around 10 uhs, 3 ums, 1 so. On the table topics portion, Cheyenne, you had 5 uhs and 5 ums. Olivia had 1 so and 1 Kyler had a 1 like, 2 you knows, 1 so, 3 ums, and 1 And then on the evaluation portion, I recorded for Kyler 4 ums and 4 uhs. And that's my counter report for tonight.
All right, thank you so much. And I believe that is all the reports that we will be getting tonight. So I will give you a general overview of the meeting. I think we started a few minutes late, but we were just getting some things ironed out. It's okay, it happens. We were out for 2 weeks, so we had to get some things in order. Carrie just reminded us to please pay the dues that have not been paid yet before the deadline, which is in October. And I enjoyed our speech about leadership styles. I was kind of going through my head, kind of giving labels to the leaders in my life. I'm like, oh, well, what style do they have? So it was a really great speech, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for evaluating. It was a good, thorough evaluation. I liked our table topics, very timely. The hurricane. It's always it's smooth and dandy until you get that one, and you never know what's going to happen. So it's definitely nerve-wracking with that. But thank you for the table topics that were in relation to that. And that is it for my general evaluation. And it's good to see you guys again, and glad that we could meet back. And so now I will turn it back over to our Toastmaster.
All right, thank you very much, Cheyenne, and thanks to the evaluation team for all the information. Next, we will start our education overview from Donovan. But before we start that, if everybody could just start typing their phone number, name and phone number in the chat box, and that way maybe we can all either write it down or just take a quick picture of the chat and then program the numbers in our phones later, because I would really like to have everybody's phone number. And without further ado, Donovan, we are ready for your education overview.
All right, thank you, Luke. So I found a little article on the Toastmasters site. It's called 5 Tips for Setting Goals. The way I did it, instead of actually following it directly, I decided to assign by color instead. So the first goal is red. So the first goal is is to write what goes down. It's always easier to write them down so you can remember them. But also have a way of coding with it later on the future. 2 is red. It says make your goals visible. To me, making your goals visible is like making it be able to populate your mind in a way. By the way of making it visible is to practice of bringing your goals to yourself, but also bring it out to other people as a way of remembering those goals. 3 is orange or yellow. It says set small goals. What they mean about the small goals is more specific. The first one is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. It's important to divide them into those subsections to help you be able to achieve them better, to understand those goals, but also achieve them in a way as well. The fourth goal is right. The goal is think about the big picture. To me, thinking about the big picture is to set an image in your head, and whatever the image in your head is, you write it out. You make that into a speech or into a toast or a oath as well. Because in a way, the oath to presidency is actually a kind of speech, but rehearsed and also laid out for you as well. The fifth goal is green. The fifth goal is modify as you go. It's easier to set the goals. As you set your goals, you want to achieve them. But when things change, like when last week when the hurricane hit, it was kind of difficult for me to adjust to no internet, no connection. Even though I had work that I had to do that's due in a certain amount of time. What happened was that we had power Saturday, but for the next morning, we lost it again. It was frustrating, it was annoying, because I have work that was due that night and I couldn't get it done. But when I did, I controlled it by 3 until it out. But it helped. So what I was saying was that just stay constant, and by staying constant will help to go into that way smoothly. Thank you. Back to you, Mrs. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you very much, Donovan. I definitely appreciate your education overviews. You always do a great job on them. You can tell you put a lot of effort and research into them, and they're meaningful. So I really enjoyed listening to the one tonight and your previous ones too. Okay, guys, so with that, so we are right at 7:45. And I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I know we did start a little bit late with the technical difficulties. David, do we have any awards tonight?
We have one award tonight, if we'd like to do that real quick, and I'm going to see.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can do a screen sharing. The award is for you, Luke. Let's see. Let me do, can everybody see that? Certificate
that's nice.
Certificate of completion to James Green, Luke, for achieving level 1 of dynamic leadership, or no, that's what I'm on. Level 1 of leadership development pathway. And Luke is has really been getting active with Toastmasters, with going through the Toastmasters International pathway, and which I'd like to encourage everyone to do so. But beyond that, Luke's really been doing a great job of holding this group together as president. It's been really trying times with the pandemic and now hurricane, but I think we're getting there, and things are going to continue to get better and better. But thank you very much, Luke, and I will see if I can figure out how to stop screen sharing and turn it back over to you. Stop. Here.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate that. And I got to figure out how you do the screen sharing. So in the future, when I present an award, people can actually see it instead of me holding it up. And thanks again for the kind words. So with that, let me look at my notes real fast. So in closing, Majid, I really enjoyed your speech. Like I said, I do like the whole leadership aspect, because I do have a lot of bosses in the Coast Guard. And so seeing how people lead and interact with people I deal with definitely on a daily basis. So I really enjoyed it. And also too, you did have some technical difficulties, but you didn't let it phase you at all. You didn't get flustered. You didn't act nervous. You just literally picked right up where you were and you kept going. And that's, exactly what we should do. And I thought you did great. Let's see, speech for next week. Does anybody have a speech or anything? I don't think we have anybody signed up for a speech right now. I'm probably going to sign up for a speech, not this next Monday, but the one after. I have a paper due this weekend, but if anybody would like to do a speech, please let me know and I can put you in, or you can sign up yourself on the Easy Speak website. And lastly, I just want to say it's great to see everybody. I know with the storms and everything, we kind of been gone. I think one of my worst fears is that people start losing interest in the club because either one, it's virtual, and I've had people that I've reached out to say, oh, well, I'll come back when it's in person. And I know that people can get out of practice, and when you're gone 3 weeks, and then you kind of get used to just not going again. So it was great to see everybody. And I thought we had another great meeting. And Marianne and Sean, it was great to see both of you guys, and we hope that you'll continue, coming back with us regularly. Sean, I know you've been busy with work, and so, I hope everything's kind of slowing down and going good for you there. And with that, I don't think I have anything else. Does anybody have anything they want to say in closing?
I'll just say real quickly to Majid that there's always going to be babies crying. It's how we react to that that's important. And I thought you also that you did a really good job. So thank you.
Yep. Yeah. I definitely want to, second that again, because in the past, when things didn't go exactly like perfect for me when I spoke, or if I started to stutter or I mispronounced words, I really let it affect the overall performance of my whole speech. And that's not realistic, because everybody messes up, everybody stumbles, everybody is not perfect all the time, and that's what Toastmasters teaches you. So I definitely second what David just said. So
yeah,
all right,
I was
guys,
thinking the same thing.
And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's quite all day, and that's the 15 minutes that's the loudest around.
Yeah, I really admire. No, I was just going to say I really admire that. I was just saying that I really admired Majid. For a minute, I was thinking about when the band kept playing when the Titanic was going down, and how they just kept right on playing the instruments. And I was like, oh yeah, the Titanic is going down in the background, but he is doing a marvelous job. So kudos to you for that.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
And I hope the baby is okay now.
Yeah, she's slept now. She just worn out.
Good. Good.
All right, everybody. Well, like I said, it was great to see everyone, and please confirm your attendance on Easy Speak. I'm going to send out the new agenda in the next day or two. I want to send them out a little earlier to give people time to prepare. I've been a little busy at work and stuff, so I know the last couple ones have gone out kind of late. So I'm going to do my best to get it out tomorrow or Wednesday. So anyway, once again, great to see everybody. Everybody have a good week, and we will see everybody next Monday.